Hello, welcome to European Open Briefing for Thursday, November the 22nd. I'm Rafi Boyajian, currency analyst at XM.com, and we're going to be taking a look at what's happening in the currency markets today. So we saw a bit of a recovery in risk appetite early in Asian trading, but we're seeing now heading into the European session that risk on wane a little bit. We saw a mixed session in Asia in equities markets, and in Europe we're seeing a negative start at the moment. It was mixed overnight on Wall Street. Dow Jones closing flat, but there were some gains for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. So the US dollar has eased a little bit due to that weak risk appetite, but we did also see some disappointing economic data out of the US, which also did weigh on the US dollar. The greenback is somewhat down this morning. The dollar index at 96.61 at the moment. Dollar yen slightly lower at 112.90. And there is some support for risk appetite due to cautious optimism for the US-China trade talks, but despite that, both the Aussie and the Kiwi are low this morning, though they did see some strong gains yesterday, so perhaps that's mostly down to corrective moves. The Canadian dollar is also lower again, though it did recover strongly yesterday to move away from its 5 months lows as oil prices rebounded, but this morning oil has started to head back down again. WTI down by around 1.5% at $53.78 a barrel. So there are rising expectations that OPEC will make production cuts at its meeting in December. But yesterday, the weekly inventory numbers from the US showed a big jump in US crude stocks, so that is weighing on prices this morning. Gold prices yesterday rose to 2-week highs. They were falling in Asian trading as risk appetite improved, but now we're seeing oil prices head back up again. And perhaps the reason for that deterioration in risk-on sentiment is the conflicting signs out of Italy as to how willing the government there is to negotiate with the European Commission following the decision yesterday for the Commission to reject Italy's revised budget. The euro, though, isn't doing too badly. Nevertheless, it's holding around the $1.14 level. Sterling is also marginally higher. We're seeing the Brexit talks continue in the coming days ahead of the summit, EU Brexit summit on Sunday. So let's now move on to the main performers. Oil, we can see, is at the bottom of the table, followed by the Aussie and the Kiwi, which are struggling this morning. The euro dollar doing surprisingly well. And now looking at dollar yen, we saw that rebound over the past couple of days. At the moment, dollar yen is trading just below the 113 level. We're likely to see thin liquidity over the next couple of days due to the Thanksgiving weekend in the US. So yesterday we had some disappointing numbers. Durable goods orders, weekly jobless claims, and the University of Michigan's Consumer Confidence Index all came in below expectations. But the main focus remains on that summit between President Trump and Xi later this month. So we're seeing some signs of the US and China making conciliatory moves ahead of those talks, but we're also getting other signals that the two sides aren't likely to make big concessions very easily. A lot of uncertainty as to what's going to happen there. Moving now on to the euro, we can see the euro falling below the 1.14 level early in the week before recovering towards that level again. Markets seem to be optimistic that Italy and the European Commission will be able to resolve their differences over Italy's budget plans, but the main concern is the widening yield spread between Italian and German Bund spread, German government bonds, and Italy's prime minister also expressed some concern over that, saying that they're going to propose some reforms to appease both the EU and the markets. But there's a lot of uncertainty as to what the government will do. Italy's government is made up of the populist parties, the Five Star and the Northern League. So there's conflicting sides from the leaders of the two parties. One is willing to negotiate and the other doesn't want to make any changes to the budget. So this still has the potential to blow up, even though for the time being markets do remain fairly quiet despite those developments. And finally, taking a quick look at the pound, it's been drifting lower over the past few days. Yesterday, UK Prime Minister Theresa May did meet with European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker. They failed to finalize the details of the Brexit agreement, but they will meet again on Saturday, on the eve of the EU summit on Sunday. Both the EU and the UK government says that progress is being made. But there's still a lot that could go wrong. Spain isn't happy about the text regarding the arrangement for Gibraltar once the UK leaves the EU. France is demanding fishing rights in UK waters. Prime Minister Theresa May is hoping for frictionless trade in order to sell her deal in the UK to UK lawmakers. The DUP, Northern Irish Party, are threatening to withdraw support from May's government. So a lot still could go wrong, even if a deal is agreed on Sunday at the EU summit. It's going to be fairly quiet though for the rest of the day, with the most attention coming from the ECB's October meeting minutes. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.